Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. My own meditations on the reading for today, a few things I'd like to weave together. Unusual things. Unusual. And I'm not, but he does sometimes unusual things, like a bush burning on Mount Horeb in front of Moses. Has it ever happened since then? Before that? Burning and not burned down? Very unusual. I think about the sun moving at Fatima. Has it ever happened before or after? Maybe, but not typical. Very unusual. Some people get a prayer gift speaking in tongues. Explain that. It's kind of unusual. I mean, that's more usual, but still unusual. So we have all these phenomenon, and God maybe do that in our lives too. He'll surprise us. And maybe that'll be something that's ordinary, not so extraordinary like a bush on fire that's not burning down, but still something that catches us off guard. I was enlightened, saw a little movie the other day on Netflix called The Dish. You ever see The Dish? It's from the year 2000. And it's very sort of innocent and fun. But anyway, I never knew this, but there is a huge dish in Australia, and it's in the middle of nowhere. Parks, P-A-R-K-E-S, nowhere. Sheep all around. And that is the dish that took down all the pictures when NASA first landed on the moon. 1969. Because as the Earth turns and the moon rotates, they had to have something in the southern hemisphere. And so all these people in the middle of nowhere felt like greatly blessed. They became part of this incredible mission. And God does sometimes invite us into things that would be unexpected or even unusual. And so we are good to prepare to maybe to allow God to surprise us. Now, the Israelites did something that wasn't so good. They grumbled. Do you ever grumble? No, you never grumble. That's good. I was in the locker room the other day. I went and did my little workout, and I came in and I showered. I'm in the locker room, and I got down, and my stuff is in the lower shelf down there, and I pulled it up, and I hit my head on the upper door for the upper locker. And I said, frickin'. You ever say that? It's kind of a way of not swearing, but frickin'. And then I thought, did I grumble like the people in the desert? I thought, God did not want that door to hit me on the head, but anyway, little lessons. In the gospel, some people are blaming God for bad events. This tower fell over and killed these people, and some people say they must have sinned, so they're blaming the person for the bad thing, and God has judged them as such. And Jesus clarifies. He says, no, God did not intend for that. God allowed that. When we talk about spiritual theology and the will of God, we can talk about two aspects of God's will. We can talk about God's passive will and God's active will. The passive will allows things to happen because God has allowed freedom, and freedom therefore also sometimes sin. God allows a priest to hit his head on a door in the locker room. But God's active will is to direct circumstances towards a particular end. You see that? God's passive will, God's active will. God's passive will allowed a tower to fall on people. That was a chance event. It was a sad event. God didn't rejoice in the death of those, but because He gave freedom to the world, our free will, and sin entered, He allows things to happen in His passive will. All right, but in His active will, sometimes He does extraordinary things, even unusual things. Have you ever had an unusual phenomenon with God?